Let's get the link. Oh. Oh, this is about to get tapped in. Just announcing the live everywhere. Got a few things to talk about today. Let me see if that's entered as. Need to keep an eye on my margin. Got a few positions. If I can open them all. GU, no, didn't tap us in. Just a tick off. I need to keep an eye on this because I've got a buy there. What? Oh, that was where my buy was placed. No, I'm selling off it on the intraday. So yeah, I need to keep an eye on leverage. If I can't open this trade as intended, I'll take half of my GU trade off and open half of this trade. So be closing half of that at BE if this can't open, and then only open half on that. That's purely just because of the leverage available. I'm trading on a 1 to 30 leverage account. If I was on a personal 1 to 500, I'd be able to open both. But see what happens with it. Seeing 5.8 loss is half of it. Just waiting on that spread to get tapped. Should get tapped looking at that last 5 minute candle. Yeah, that should get tapped. Playing games again. Playing games. I need to start making my entries a little bit worse. I feel like. Usually they're bang on, but they're a little bit too precise these days. Sometimes they're just a whisker off. Put that there. Can I modify that? Yeah, I can modify that. Cool. Bring a tick down. We're looking at the 71% fib from this high to this low. I'm pretty confident that's going to get a tick. Like the last 5 minute was a Marubozu. You want to see a wick up into that, surely. then that's announced. Yes, lads. Morning. Just opened the chat there. Just been putting the live links everywhere and shit. Morning, lads. Hope we're good. Bro is too much of a smart buyer and seller. Yeah, playing ping pong at the minute, aren't we? Yeah, exactly. Bit unlucky yesterday. We should have had this as an entry, but that was 1.2 pips off our original entry, but we've got a re-entry from this level here. The original entry, if we kept it, would have actually been tapped in now, but from this move I felt like it was going to retrace a bit, but the retail sales this morning swept that liquidity, which would have got our original entry in, which was somewhere like this, like that, for like a 6, but we've gone for this instead, which is a 4.4. This level being broken, I know it only wicked it, but this level being broken here kind of makes me think, instead of this being our stop loss, we can have something like this as our stop loss now. I knew to definitely not have that as the stop, and you can see that's been liquidated, so just hope this one doesn't get taken out now. But yeah, we've got a little hedge on at the moment, so just waiting for this to tap in. It came like, let's check, there we go, it came 0.7 pips away, so it's came like within 7 ticks of our entry. What we want to do is have this as a hedge against this, so in theory if this does come down to stop loss today, hopefully we get tagged into this and make the 3.3%, which covers losing this 1%. If this fucking tags us in, entering this off of the 71%, we've had EMA as resistance 3 times before, waiting on it to happen here in line with the 71. We had wick rejections from the 61.8 level, so that's why we chose the 71 to enter from. It's bouncing off that EMA quite strongly, so just waiting for it to clear these early highs before moving down. We've got a huge fair value gap that got caused by that retail sales news candle. It's already been tapped into in the form of that wick, It's just eating into it a little bit more, trying to cover more of it. I feel like with an FVG of this size, it's telling us that the market wants to move lower. It just kind of needs to recover some of that inefficiency of order flow before moving down. So yeah, just wait for that to get tapped in. Good entries though, better to be one tick off than swept by. Yeah, exactly. It's kind of showing that like the entries are a little bit too good when you're a fucking one tick off. Do you know what I mean? It's a little bit too precise. So that's why on this swing, I opted to go for the 71 here, even though I could have just kept that original position on there and it would have tapped in. The market is moving without us at the moment. January price action in it for you. But yeah, I decided to go for a worse entry there instead of there, just to make sure we get tagged in. With this one, kind of don't want to do it with this one because we don't have as much room on the RR to play with. You kind of need that 71 on your intraday because the spreads are a much higher percentage of the position with this. I mean, this one's a 17 pip stop. We place a buy or a sell. I don't understand. They have sell on 5 minute and buy for 1 hour. Yeah, exactly. It's a hedge. So on the 1 hour, I'm in longs. And then on the intraday, on the 5 minute, I'm looking for shorts. Simple as that. So let's play out some scenarios. Let's say this one hits my stop loss and I lose 1%, but I get tagged into this one and I make 3%. So in that scenario, I'm still up 2%. Another scenario is that this one hits stop loss, minus 1%, but that kind of confirms this one is valid. And then if this one hits 4.4, 4.4 minus 1 is still 3.4. Now, obviously, there is still this scenario of this one hits stop and then plays off without us, and we lose 1% again here. Total devastation is minus 2%. So the absolute worst case scenario from this is minus 2%, which isn't bad. But we stand to gain a decent amount. So yeah, it's two separate strategies. This isn't like one strategy in terms of hedging. This is its own strategy that's giving me a short signal. And this is its own strategy that's giving me a long signal. So I'm taking both. Whether one loses and the other wins, whether they both lose, whether they both win, if that's even possible. 2152. 2152. No, that is not possible. If this one wins, this one hits stop loss. So that's not a scenario. But yeah, they're two individual strategies. I'm trading both strategies here. It's not like the strategy as a noun is telling me to do this. It's two completely separate decisions that are providing me with a hedge to be able to do this. So hopefully that is a good explanation of what's going on here. What time frames are you using for the intraday and swing trades? Intraday is 5 minute here, and swing trade, this is on the 1 hour. So what we had on intraday, here's our Asian range. Price broke beneath it, used it as resistance. This was the retail news, push down. I'm waiting for this to retrace up, fill in this candle, and continue to the downside. That's what price action is telling me intraday. On the swing trading, which counters that argument, is that we have on the daily, you see this low here, this liquidity has been taken out. We saw 4 days where price wicked that level and didn't manage to close beneath. You've got your pin bar candlesticks, doji candlesticks at the bottom of that. It's also resting at the bottom of this support channel, coincides with that too. And then if we go to the local trend, you can see GU has been very, very bearish. which we've caught, by the way. We've caught that move, and what we're seeing now is a correction of that bearish action. So we see this local 1 hour trend that broke above, used it as support. The substructure that formed above that breakout broke out again, so this is your break of substructure, and what we're looking at for this swing move is this to continue with wave structure up here like this. So that's the swing move. Intraday isn't agreeing with our levels on that, which isn't a bad thing, because you can play both, like they're two completely independent strategies. So we just got to see how this one pans out. Okay, so if we look on the 1 minute, we're still making higher highs at the moment, so entry is still valid. This one there. I'm trading on a 1 to 30 leverage account at the moment, so with my EU shorts that are active and my GU longs on the swings, I don't think I'm going to be able to open this 12 lot GU short, even though it's quite a small trade in terms of lot sizes compared to my usual intraday trades, because it's on the 5 minute. We've got like a 17 pip stop. I don't know if I can open all of that at the same time with 1 to 30 leverage. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait to see if I've got the margin available when it hits. If I don't, I'm going to close half of my GU longs and then only open half of my GU shorts. So I'll have 0.5% running long and 0.5% running short, purely just because of the leverage. If it wasn't the leverage, I'd have 1% long, 1% short. We have to wait for confirmation for the short. We've already got it. So in the form of this candle, this candle, this candle, this candle, all of those were rejections from the 61.8, from the fib level, from the EMA. That was our confirmation for this limit order. So yeah, we do wait for confirmations, but we've already got it in the form of this. That was our confirmation. Today's my payout. I've got 200k account. I'm down minus 0.1%. Mate, yeah, that's nothing. That's basically break even. Like anything plus or minus 0.5% is basically break even. So yeah, it's basically just like starting off fresh, but having a month in advance, so you can actually request payouts like that. Like if you make fucking 1% today, you can withdraw that. You don't have to wait a month to get that withdrawn, so that's not all too bad. Missed GU yesterday. Yeah, we did, mate. We did. That was fucking unlucky, wasn't it? But it happens. It's the same here. Like we won like 1 pip off that. We're getting the right ideas, but we might have to dampen our entries a little bit this month. It seems to be taking off without us. EU intraday, we've got to change the character on EU. So it was making lower lows, lower highs. This was the high that broke above. So now we've got a change of character to the upside on EU. It might take out this Asian high forming there. It's using that previous resistance as support at the moment. In terms of the correlation between EU and GU, because I'm looking at EU shorts, remember, I'm still short on EU, but I'm long on GU here on the swing, which, according to like the 95% correlation, you shouldn't really do. But there is still that difference. They're not the identical currency, like I said yesterday. They still move independently, especially intraday. You can see here, GU making lower lows, lower highs. EU's already broken that. And then in terms of a swing perspective, after these breaks of structure, EU didn't really short off that much, whereas after these breaks of structure, GU shorted heavily after that. So I do feel like GU has got some imbalance above that it needs to refill. You can see it's got a huge trading range above it, in between this liquidity and lower band of support up to that higher trend line. You've got all this fair value that got left behind. So I do feel like GU needs to rebalance a little bit, whereas EU is pretty balanced from that perspective. So what I would be waiting on EU is for this to be an ABC correction, this to be the start of a 1-2 wave, and then I want to see this break to the downside before I then look to take a trade off of that fifth wave down. Which also could be the case with GU. This that's forming right now could be the ABC correction, like this. And then this could be the trend line. This could break quite easily and then form another 5 waves to the downside. The reason that's not my main idea at the moment is because of how short it already is, in combination with the fact that it's swept this lower liquidity there, in line with the fact that it's got a trend line support on the downside, in line with the fact that there's so much imbalance up here that needs to be collected. So I am indifferent on the two of those. Let's see if we can get tapped in on this GU short intraday. Still making higher highs. It's kind of formed a double top there, so it'd be nice to see that get swept, tagging us in. Our ideal outcome at the moment, to be honest, is that this gets tagged in, hits TP, this gets stopped out, but we recover it and then some with this trade. The reason that's my favourite outcome out of this scenario is because it would be the quickest. It means we're not holding on to this. This would then confirm that GU's printing lower, and that kind of gives us extra confirmation of this idea of EU going lower as well, which extends our current position in the shorts and gives us more opportunity to scale in lower. So that's what I think is the best scenario for us right now, which includes my stop loss getting hit. So there's definitely worse. The worst case scenario is that this wicks stop loss and then hits the stop loss of this one, and we're at -2%. But even then, that's kind of fueling our EU shorts at the same time and giving us further entries to take GU shorter as well. And there we go, that's tapped in. So let's see if we've had the leverage to do this on our 1 to 30 leverage account. So looks like we have. We can hold the EU shorts swing, we can hold the GU longs swing, and we can hold the GU shorts intraday. So this is interesting now. So we're in all of those with 1% each. So let's see what happens. I hope that this one hits TP, which then stops this trade out, but it acts as a hedge. So let's see what happens with this one. This one's tagged in. This one is back positive. Doji printed on the 1 minute. Good sign for us. Well, actually on here it's looking like a pin bar, to be honest. Take that off. Pushing higher. It's a little interesting play we've got going on today. Nah, arbitrage hedging is where you have two different accounts on a funded challenge, and you would full port, for example, gold longs in one way, and then on a separate account you would full port gold shorts the other way. So one of the accounts below, the other accounts make a fuck ton of money, and you would basically lose one of the challenges but win the other one. But obviously they can see that you've fucking bought two challenges off them, and they would just say like, sorry, this pass doesn't count because we can see that you've arbitraged the two accounts. Whereas obviously this one, the hedge that I've got on right now isn't arbitrage, it's both on the same account, and it's two different sized positions going one against the other. I'm not sure what happens if you and a mate do it. Let's say me and you right now, we both get a fucking FTMO challenge, and I go. You mainly do it before like NFP or like before a high news event, and you just fucking full port them either way. One of them blows, the other one makes the money. But obviously, if you do it on two separate people's accounts, I don't know how they can really flag that. They might have some way that we haven't seen, but I know they can see IP addresses because me and my friend did something similar, but we both did it like together in the house together, and they sent us both an email saying like, "Dear Callum, my mate's name. We can see exactly what you've done because you both placed the trades on the same IP address, so they didn't allow it." That was when we was copy trading, but yeah, they detected that because they can see what IP address your trades come from, and we was literally in the fucking same house doing it. So yeah. But no, I don't. I wonder what happens if you and a friend arbitrage that are on different IP addresses. So this one's bullish. This one, if it takes out this high, which it might do, because EU has had a change of character, so we might see that on GU as well. This one might get stopped out, but that kind of confirms if this level's taken out, then that's kind of a good sign, you know, for our swing. So, you know, with a hedge, one of them is going to lose. It's just about which one. And then is the loss of this one securing confirmation or extra confirmations of this one? If so, then it died in honour. It didn't die for nothing. So yeah, wait and see what happens. Okay, it's reversing now. Is that going to try find a top? We've closed above the EMA there. Then we've had a spinning top. And now we're on the next candle. So if they see if this is a top, that's hitting the 78.6 fib. It's also hitting the 100 EMA of the 5 minute. So we'll see if this is going to be the outcome. That's our most desired outcome. That will stop this position out, but it doesn't matter because we make 3% on this. So that is the desired outcome. If not, and this one has a change of character, taking out that high, then it kind of gives us extra confirmation on this swing scenario. So we're playing this both ways today. Strategically, two separate strategies. This isn't one strategy combined, it's two separate strategies, both hedging against each other. Right, we've got a double spinning top at the top. The wicks are nice and healthy off the EMA, wicking off the 78.6. Using that previous support as resistance. Let's watch for the shorts. So the sell side scenario is looking very good here. We've got the 100 EMA coming into play. We've got the 78.6 that's been used as resistance, which is inside this huge fair value gap there. We've got 3 rejection candles so far from this zone, which is nice. So we just need to see if it plays out or not really at this stage. You can see that the Asian session broke through. The bottom of it got used as resistance, and then we had the sell-off from this news candle down here. This short is basically playing on the retracement of that to fill in some inefficiencies. It's also using this previous support as resistance, taking it to continue that trend to the downside. On the intraday, would I use Asian session all the time? Yeah, if you're trading London on an intraday perspective, you really need to analyze the Asian session. So possibilities of what happened with the Asian session is you have a break beneath it, you have a change of character to the upside, bringing you back inside the Asian session, and then you start trending higher, which would usually then take out the opposite side. So that's one like probable scenario that happens with the Asian session. This is quite a deeper sweep than you'd normally get. I imagine that's taking out a previous level. Not really, it was just quite a bit deep today. So that's one scenario. And then another scenario is that you break beneath it, but this doesn't cause a change of character inside. It uses it as resistance or support to then continue a move outside of the range. Those are two highly probable outcomes of the Asian session in terms of when you have an Asian session and London session. That's usually only when you have quite a consolidating or low volume Asian session. So here Asian session was 26 pips, which is quite high volume, which was from this move right at the end. Before that move, it was just a little boxed in Asian session of like 15 pips. So anything below 25 pips really you'd say is quite a low volume Asian session. This one was quite a bigger Asian range, which you can see GU broke beneath it, carried on trading. This one on EU was like 18 pips, so you'd class that as a low volume Asian session, and that's typically when you can see the change of character happening, sweeping both the highs and the lows on a lower volume session. If Asian session is trending, so here you can see boxed, 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 sort of boxed. This one is more of a trending Asian session, so you see that it actually had a direction to it here. That's when you wouldn't really expect either of those two scenarios. So here what happened is it sort of faked the sweep, but it didn't actually sweep, it just created a double bottom. It had a change of character, but instead of hitting the upside, it hit the downside and reversed, and you had a double change of character. So you could have expected that because the Asian Asian session trended. So it just swept the fake of that move that I just said before and carried on trending. So you want to watch out when you have a trending Asian session. As well, this one was 43 pips. So it wasn't low volume and it had a direction to it. So that's when you wouldn't really expect that. But you see here, didn't really trend, it just created a range to be swept in London. So that's one important way to see them. Again, this one didn't really trend. I know it had a move at the end, but you know, it created this high, created that low, broke beneath, used it as resistance, and then carried on. So we're using that idea for our London ideology. In terms of that sweep, you would usually see that before 9 AM or before the first hour of London is usually when that sweep happens. Right now it's 10:30, so you're not really expecting this to come back up and sweep that high. If you were using that as a trade, because you can trade off that Asian sweep. A lot of people do it. So like here, you could wait for that change of character. Take a play on this. Don't know where you have an entry on that. Maybe scale it down to the 1 minute. I mean, EU right now is giving longs. I don't really have a don't really have enough confirmation on that to take a trade off of it. Yo, sorry. Hope you're good, Rio. What you on with today? I've just got fucking meetings lined up after this. So, I'll usually stop trading at about 12 most days, which is 7 p.m. for me. So I'll just work from 7 till about 10 or 11 most nights. Get a few hours of work in after. I'll start trading at about 9, which is 4 p.m. So in Asia, it's like you have your morning, you have your lunch, you have your afternoon, and then you start trading. It's quite nice. Like I've fucking got 2 gym sessions out of the way. Already got most of the day out of the way, and then you start trading. Whereas trading London in the UK is a bit like you gotta fucking wake up and then you just straight to it straight away. Where I don't know, it depends if you're a morning person or an evening person. If you've if you're most energetic at that time, most focused at that time. Whereas for me, I'm more focused like now in Asia, like in the evenings. Like I'm more of a night owl than an early bird. So trading London in Asia is a lot easier for me than trading London in the UK. I just feel like I'm a lot more switched on by now. You know, I've had fucking 2 cups of coffee and a Red Bull, and I've been gym and shit. So I'm a lot more active, a lot more focused, a lot more in the zone at this time for trading than what I would be in the UK right now. And then in terms of work outside of trading, it's mainly just building up the business, building more algos, building up a bigger pot of funds connected to the strategies, calls with influencers and affiliates and marketers and stuff, making SOPs, and then I'm still running all my Amazon stuff. So I've been doing Amazon FBA since I was like 17, I'd say. I didn't really start Amazon until I was 20, but I started e-commerce when I was 17, just selling things on eBay. And then I moved from eBay to Amazon when I was like 19 or 20, around that age. And then that's when I started the Amazon FBA stuff from there. So I was already selling stuff online before I got into Amazon FBA. So now I'm just building up some private label brands, writing a business plan for that, and then going to go to the bank, try to get like a 6-figure bank loan to run it with. It's always better using other people's capital for business. Like that is the golden rule of success in business, is find a way to make a percentage return on investment, and then find a way to leverage someone else's capital at large to be able to do that with limited liability as well. So like you see this in real estate a lot, and it's really like you kind of have to do this in real estate. So even if you're just a retail buyer buying a house, you put a deposit down and the bank gives you the rest of the capital to buy that house with, and then you pay the bank back. And then if you're talking about real estate investing, same thing. You go get a business loan to do it with in most cases, or in terms of the mortgage being paid off by the bank anyway, after your deposit. So if you just take that approach, and again with deal sourcing and developments and stuff like that, you'd capital raise from investment firms and stuff like that. If you're starting out with fucking little money, which in real estate, like most people have little money for real estate, but if you can package a deal together and then bring it to an investor and say, look, here's a house, here's the work needed on it, here's the amount that's needed to finance it, I'll do all the work, just give me the money to do it with and I'll cut you in on the deal. Like that is a pretty standard approach in real estate. You can take that principle and apply it to most businesses that are classed as having like a low risk profile. So you can't really fucking bring your trading portfolio to the bank and ask for a loan to trade on. That's what investment firms and prop firms are for. But in terms of other businesses that don't have that high risk profile, like e-commerce, you can do that. So I've got like a 5-year track record as a company for my e-commerce stuff that I can put a business plan together with, go to the bank, get a bank loan and run that with. Do I dabble in real estate? No, I don't. I was looking into real estate a lot in the UK, but it's not really a business that gives you locational freedom, so I didn't want to do it. And I've been waiting for a crash in the UK real estate market for some fucking time. Like, we've not had a crash in the UK in real estate for a long time. We had a bit of a flash crash in COVID, but it fucking bounced back straight away. Like, that crash got snapped up by investors, bounced back straight away, and now is even more than it was before COVID. I believe. I've not checked since a while anyway, but yeah, I've been waiting on a crash because I'm not too knowledgeable about real estate. So for me, the safest way to get into it is, in my eyes, just wait for a crash and then snap some properties up when like the whole market is down. If you know what you're doing in real estate, you don't need to wait for a crash. You just buy at considerably less than the market value anyway, so that you've got that difference in value. But for me, it's a bit too hands-on. It doesn't give you locational freedom. And I know a lot of people that have got into real estate, and it's really fucking hard at the start. Like, you're tied up a lot, there's a lot of manual work, unexpected problems happen, capital gains tax is going up, the government is putting pressure on landlords at the moment, so you're very illiquid in that as well. A lot of your capital's tied up, a lot of your time's tied up. It's physical, it's not online, it's not digital. So yeah, there's a lot of benefits to trading compared to real estate for sure. Real estate is seen as quite low risk profile just because it's brick and mortar. There's high demand for houses all the time. So it is seen as low risk profile. But there is a lot of negatives to it as well. I just feel like the timing's not right for me to get into it. There's plenty of other stuff that I'm doing at the moment that are working, that are more my bread and butter compared to real estate. So stick with what you know. Like, I've met a few millionaires and billionaires that don't have any real estate investments themselves because they said the same thing. Like, stick to what you know. I've got plenty of businesses that make money. I don't need to diversify into real estate just for the sake of it. Whereas, like, I don't know, you make a bit of money and you suddenly feel like you need to get in real estate. Do you know what I mean? What do you do about taxes from forex profits, i.e. funded payouts? I run them through limited companies in terms of funded accounts. That is the way around it. So when you trade in funded accounts, you're a contractor trading someone else's capital as a service. So yes, it is taxable. If you don't run that through a limited company, yeah, you're adding on to your 40% tax bracket. If you run them through a limited company, corporation tax is like, what, 19-20%? Obviously, you can add on all the costs and expenses of you running that business, which bring the profits down. And then, yeah, you've got your dividend pay. Dividends are paid after corp tax, though, aren't they? So you just want to get a good accountant that can optimize your tax, because if you do it right and you reinvest all of your funded profits, then technically the company has not made any profit to pay tax on. So I would say, obviously I'm not a fucking legal advisor, I'm not a financial advisor, but in terms of funded accounts, the best way you can really play it is put them through a corporation that then reinvests those profits in some way. Whether the company makes funded account profits and then chooses to start a commercial property arm and then spends those profits on a property like we just mentioned, and that would be a cost to the business. So you don't actually pay any tax on that company's year because the company has not been in profit. So that's not a loophole, that is literally playing the legal tax game as it's supposed to be. The incentive of corporation tax, including your reinvestments, is to literally force companies to reinvest their profits, and that puts money back into the system. Makes sense. What is tax deductible from trading? Well, in terms of anything that's tax deductible, obviously, again, not financial advice. You have to speak with a financial advisor about it, but it's anything that you spend money on that brings back a tangible return to the company. So a monitor, a laptop, mouse, new desk setup. Now there is a grey area with it because some expenses have to be solely and wholly for the company. So for example, if you buy a new snazzy suit and you try say that it brought back tangential returns to the company because you impressed some investors with your suit, then HMRC would be like, no, that's not allowed because it has like multiple uses and it's not solely for the company. So you could wear that as everyday clothing and it have no benefit to the business. So there's some things that are non expensable to the company. Rishi Sunak changed the food and drinks allowances. So previously you could have like your food and drink on travel trips and business meetings and stuff like that as tax deductible. He changed that so that they're no longer tax deductible. So you can't use food and drink while you're traveling as an you can pay for it out of the company, but you just can't claim it off your tax. But yeah, I don't want to really fucking be giving out too much financial advice as a non-financial advisor. Do you know what I mean? So you do have to chat with an accountant about it, but in general, anything that you can spend as a company that is towards the company's revenue that makes a tangential difference to the business is a company expense. So yeah, like anything that you would spend on trading. And if you make a company, it doesn't solely have to be a like Forex trading company. You can run the operations through a different arm of a business that does other stuff and package that balance sheet as well. But yeah, either way, if you're already paying 40% tax and then you start running your funded account profits through that tax bracket, you're going to pay 40% on it anyway. So you might as well just fucking run it through a limited company and pay the corporate tax rates on it instead. Could you class reinvesting through a personal Forex account? No, because you would then be depositing onto a trading account that's in your personal name. What you can do is make a corporate trading account, which is a trading account in a company name. But if you just deposit into that trading account, that's not an expense because the money is still there. It's liquid. So if you just deposit that money into a trading account, that's not a cost. So it would still get taxed unless you fucking put it in a trading account and lose it to the market. Then it is a cost. But that's not the way to optimize your tax, by just fucking losing money. But yeah, in general, my understanding of tax within trading is that if you're trading in the UK in your personal name, then it's classed as spread betting. And because gambling in the UK is 0% tax, as long as it's money that you're trading yourself on margin in your own name, then it's tax free. But as soon as you start trading on funded accounts or using loans or other people's capital, then it's no longer just gambling your personal funds, then it becomes a service. And that's when it becomes taxable because you're now running a service. That's not legal advice, that's not financial advice, that's just my current understanding of trading and taxes. This is this position's sort of going sideways a little bit at the moment, isn't it? It's good to see. This isn't a bad sign. This is the market forming a turning point. So you see a lot of indecision there on our level. Within the zone, it's filling in that FVG, filling in them inefficiencies. Let's look at this on the 50 EMA. Still below the 50 on the 15 minute. Last question. Last question about LLC. Last question about legal shit. LLCs, limited liability corporations. I don't know. I don't fucking know. I don't know what it stands for. LLC. I know that the Australian version of an LTD is an LLC. I'm not 100% sure about them in the UK. I'll be honest. Limited liability company. Yeah. What's the difference between that and a LTD? An LLC is an unincorporated business in the US, and an LTD is an incorporated company in the UK. Yeah, I'm not too sure about that, to be honest. In the UK, I use LTDs. This one's playing out to the downside now, which is good. Again, my preferred scenario out of this hedge is that we hit our TP on this one and we hit our stop loss on this one. Overall, that'll make like 2%. That's a nice candle on the 15-minute for us. Price came up, sort of filled in most of that fair value gap, had some indecision and is now reversing. You can see long orders turning into short orders there. Yeah, that's nice on the 5-minute. Big bearish engulfing candle that just takes out all of that indecision. Like an hour's worth of indecision there, taken out by that bearish engulfing. Sorry. That's a good sign for the short scenario, which is what we want. And you can see that's no coincidence there either. Like this is coming off of that 78.6, off of that EMA, off of the fair value gap being filled, off of this previous support that's now resistance. We've had the confirmation candles on the lead up, we've had the indecision, and now we've got the confirmation after our entry for a bearish engulfing candle. And now you can see price is selling off. What do you think about Trump getting in office Monday? Do you think it'll affect anything? Yeah, I think it definitely will. Definitely will. It's a massive event for the dollar. I think crypto will probably see some changes. It's probably bullish for crypto, which has been fucking bleeding for a little bit. But events like that, they just provide security and stability, which is good for the currency. You know, if you're in a country where you don't know what the fuck is going on, like if a president resigns and then they're trying to like scurry about who's going to lead the country, that's not good for the economic outlook of the country, which is then bad for the currency itself. But any event where it's like securing, like an election happening, an inauguration, then yeah, it's good for the like when a president comes in and is actually now in charge. It's good for the currency because it provides stability. There's a lot of dodgy stuff happening over here. Yeah, there is a lot of dodgy shit in the UK. There always has been. It is a very corrupt country, but most people think because it's a world leader that it's not, but it is. UK and US are proper corrupt. A lot of backhand deals going on. Psyops. Shit being covered up. I just saw the other day that Keir Starmer is now banning certain conversations from being allowed in pubs, which is mental, isn't it? If you're in a pub drunk with your mates and you joke about the wrong thing, they can fucking kick you out now and report you to the police for just shit that you're saying with your mates. Since Labour's came into power, they're really, really stepping on the freedom of speech, aren't they? And the UK is becoming picked up worldwide for it. You got the likes of Elon Musk coming for Starmer. I think Trump said he didn't want Starmer at his inauguration. So it's good that it's not a localised problem. Like we in Rotherham, we had the localised problem of this grooming rape scandal back when I was at college. This was all happening in my area. So this Rotherham rape scandal, we used to get emails from college being like, oh, this girl's been kidnapped in this path, don't walk home this way and shit. And it was not getting any support from the government. It was just like a localised problem. But then now it's all resurfacing, and it's like they're bringing it back up and saying it was Keir Starmer that was responsible for the cover up. Yeah, I know a few people got 3 years for speaking. Yeah, it's mental, isn't it? Mental. You're getting locked up for your opinions. That is the start. That is the start of something bad. Right now, it might not seem too bad, but it's more the implications of, if that's normal, what else can they do now? And if you're not allowed a voice, you can't even you can't even argue with them about it, or they'll arrest you. That is literally political tyranny. Yeah, Thailand's good for it, bro. You don't fucking have any shit in Thailand. Um, you don't hear much about fucking politics over here, to be honest. It's quite neutral on a lot of stuff. Whereas like if you're in the UK, like you're just blagged constantly with politics, aren't you? Like you can't fucking escape it. Every time you open up your phone or fucking turn on the TV, you fucking hear about it. But over here, like they just don't give a fuck. Like they don't push any agendas. Or even if they do, I don't fucking understand it because I don't speak Thai. So, so I'm safe from the media bullshit. This one, yeah, this one's on EU Classic Asian Session Sweep. Sweat the lows, change your character, taking the highs. GU now. This is actually closed above that play, which isn't a good sign for this move. It's actually closed above that on the 15-minute as well. Right, that could be hitting stop loss now, to be honest. I'll hold it until then. I'm not the one to cut a position early. I mean, if it does, again, we've got the hedge. So if this can actually close above this bearish candle and recover that, it looks like that was a liquidity sweep. And we're looking at a push higher. So that's the hedge coming into effect. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see what happens with this. I think after that candle there, it's likely this does stop out, and then we're playing the long side. Yeah, I think it's likely that's taken. I want to see that close above and then drive this long higher. Wasn't my most desirable outcome, but it's not a bad one. So I think it's almost game over for this short position, which is fine. This was a hedge against this long position. So if this level is broken, according to this intraday short, this actually gives us some good confidence for this long that we have marked up that we're in. So this is hedging. We will take a 1% loss on this, but it gives us extra confirmation on this setup. So these were both two valid setups using two separate strategies. They both gave signals in the opposite direction, so you take both of them, and then if this one loses, we lose 1%. If this one wins, we make 4%. So that's an effective hedge. Didn't matter which way it went, there was a positive outcome out of either. I didn't want this to happen. I wanted this to happen, and then this one take a stop loss, so that we secure like 2% profit today. But that didn't happen. This one looks like it's the correct direction, and this one looks like it's gonna get stopped out. So that's just the way the cookie crumbles. This is kind of giving a valid long on EU. The only thing for me is that it's just swept that session range. But there's still liquidity above it to collect. A lot of people would have had their TPs at this level, pumping shorts back into the market, but I don't know if it's enough to change the character of this trend. Could look for a trade here. With this GU position, I'm looking on the 15-minute for a scaling if this does go our way. So once this is broken and this change of character happens, so let's say that happens, this now gives me like a confirmation for a trade on the 15-minute to scaling. But we're still some time away from that at the moment. Just got to wait to see if this does actually print higher or not. Now, if this one stays in and doesn't get stopped out, I highly doubt that I've got the leverage on a 1 to 30 leverage account to trade a fucking 3.5 pip move with all the open positions that I have. But this one's valid. Well, not yet because we've not had the confirmation, but if the move does provide confirmations, it is a valid intraday setup. If this one can hurry up and fucking get stopped out before, so we've got leverage to open this. Setting light on it. Okay, so got an alert on this. If we get 2 minutes of confirmation on this, then it's actually given us a signal to buy on the upside. Let's go long on EU intraday. Now, if this doesn't close as a stop loss, I highly doubt I can place that on my funded account. I won't have the leverage. I don't want to close this just to open this. That's not what I want to do. I would prefer if this just fucking stops out now to give me the leverage for this. Alternately, I could maybe close half of that, open half of this. I want to wait to see if I've got... I'll line it up for now to see if it's actually a trade or not, based on the reaction at our zone. It is a 3.5 tick stop, and EU spreads about 2. Just need some confirmation from there first. This hasn't been stopped out just yet. This isn't giving us confirmations at the minute. If we do enter this, we need 57 lots, which I definitely can't fucking open right now. I've got like... To be fair, I've not got that many lots open. 6, 12, 13, 14, 16, call it 18 lots open on the pound and the euro. I may just close that at 0.5%. It looks like it will hit the stop loss. Could save some damage and just close out half instead. This isn't giving confirmation though. So if this doesn't confirm, then I don't need to close that to open this, because I'm not taking this if it doesn't confirm. It doesn't look like it's closed twice now beneath that EMA. Let me have a look on the 1 minute. Yeah. It's not looking too great, to be honest. This is coming from a sweep of the Asian highs as well, so it wasn't like a high class setup. And the candlesticks are kind of showing that, so I probably won't take that one anyway. This one still hasn't broke the high, so we've not had a change of character yet, so you can't count it out just yet. We're sat at about 0.5% drawdown. Yeah, that's not finding support there, is it? If we have a change of character after this sweep, that's kind of suggesting that this carries on lower on GU. Yes, Rio. Yeah, no, I'm on mute. I won't actually say anything. I was just fucking looking, just looking around. Seeing what's happening here. GU's clawing back. We're at about 0.5% drawdown on that. It's found some resistance from filling in the order block, fully filling the FVG. Some higher EMAs being tapped. We've got a double bottom after this Asian session sweep. Top of the Asian range has been swept. That didn't give us any rejections, so we didn't take a buy, which is critical. So with this strategy on the intraday, like, you need those rejections, so you don't just blindly put a sell limit on that. Like, that would have been a stop loss. Wait to see what the market's telling you as it's approaching the level, because it didn't tell us anything about wanting to find any support there. We didn't take any buys, and therefore we didn't take a stop loss. So the good thing about intraday is you're on a small enough time frame that it's fucking easy to wait for the rejections. It's really no hassle. We had them here in the form of these wicks approaching that level off of the fib levels. This one's almost back to entry. Can you hear me now? I did have my mic on mute for a bit. Can you hear me now? Yeah, I think so. But yeah, this one's almost back to entry without getting stopped out. This one's coming back down. There is also, when you're running a hedge like this, there is also the temptation of just closing both of these now at break even. Like, I could literally close them at break even and just get out of the hedge. But in that scenario, your portfolio doesn't have any risk, and you can't make any reward without any risk. So having your portfolio exposed with a small controlled amount is important. If you're just sat there with nothing open, you can't make any money. So you do need a bit of risk in trading. Like, risk isn't something to shy away from in trading. Having this hedge, the worst case scenario is that I lose 2%. That's literally the worst case scenario, and that's a small controlled amount. Whereas you stand to gain a lot more, and that's the whole point of trading. Probably going to run past 12 on this, so I will cut the live off in a couple minutes at 12, and we just let this one play out. Basically, just hold it, let it either hit stop loss or TP. This is an opportunity, if you wanted to, depending on where you're at, to close it out at break even if you're not liking it. Likewise with this one, if you don't want any risk, you can just close both out now at break even. But for me, I'm holding both. My hypothesis is that this one is going to get stopped out, and that's going to provide some fuel for this day trade. My most desired outcome, to be honest, is that this one continues the trend, hits a full TP at 3.33, and this one gets stopped out and loses 1%. In that scenario, we make 2% profit today as well, not like fucking over the course of this swing. So my preferred outcome is that this one hits TP and the other one loses. But yeah, probably time to wrap up. We've got 2 minutes left of this trading range. I don't think much is going to happen, unless this absolutely fucking shits itself, which I don't think it will. I think it's just going to play out over the rest of the day. We've got New York open in an hour. There's no news for the rest of the day, no red folder news for the rest of the day anyway. We had news this morning which was negative retail sales for GBP. So what that's saying is that consumers in Britain are basically spending less money when adjusted for inflation. So that means less VAT, less money in for the government, weaker what's the phrase? Basically like weaker sentiment for the pound, into it. Basically less money in the government. When you're looking at fundamentals, the core principles are the more money given to the government and the less money taken out of the government for nothing, the better. If it's government spending on stuff that's going to bring money back in the future or stability, then it can be a positive thing. But anything like paying people benefits, unemployment going up, that's the government just handing out money for nothing, basically. So it's not good for the country when that happens. You don't even fucking have benefits in most of the countries in this side of the world that I'm at. They think that's some like crazy policy where if you don't work, the government will just fucking pay you a wage anyway. So yeah. But anyway, we'll not get into that. Time to close off the lives. Hit 12 o'clock. So as I said, I'm just holding this either for stop loss or take profit, and then same here, just hold it for stop loss or take profit. They are hedged against each other, so worst case is that this one hits stop loss and then wicks back down and then stops this one out. So that would be like a wick up here, and then that would take us both out, which would be minus 2%. But we've already analysed the worst case scenario and we're happy with it. Best case scenario, this one hits TP, wipes out the hedge on this, this makes -1%, and then this one makes like 3%. So we're still up 2% in that scenario. So those are the two scenarios that we're faced with. Just got to hold it, hold your nerve. This one was close to getting stopped out, but it didn't. So yeah, that's the beauty of placing a stop loss and actually sticking to it. At the moment, we're up overall because obviously the intraday effect is going to overpower the swing trade effect. So we're up about 1.8k, 1.7k on this. But yeah, we've just got to hold this, see where it plays out to. But yeah, I hope everyone has a lovely weekend. I'm going to be making a Sniper Sundays video after the market closes tonight, so I'll probably make that video tomorrow and get it pushed out on Sunday, and you'll see my analysis for the week ahead across all the pairs that I trade, see my bias for the week and what I think is going to happen. But yeah, until then, everyone have a nice weekend, and I'll see you on Sunday.